70 degrees today. That means summer is around the corner, and that means more people are going to be spending time outdoors and in the sun, probably even today. And that sunlight, of course, can lead to sunburns. Dr. Ronald Downs is here with us this morning to talk about why we get burned and how we can prevent it. So good morning, Dr. Downs.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Let's get started right away. How or why do we get these sunburns?
Well, sunburns are nasty, certainly, but they are caused by ultraviolet radiation, or what we call UV radiation. It really comes in three forms: UVA, UVB, and UVC radiation. Now, the UVC radiation really never reaches us because it's filtered in our atmosphere. But the UVA and UVB rays do get to us, and they are both dangerous in terms of causing sun damage. UVB being a little bit more dangerous because it causes things like skin cancer and bad things like that. So but the interesting thing to remember is both of these are created by suntan beds as well. The sun's radiation stimulates cells in our skin which produce a pigment called melanin. This pigment colors our skin, and when they're stimulated by sunshine or UV radiation, they group together, which makes us look darker, or what we call a suntan. Those cells can also mutate into skin cancer, namely melanoma, which is a very bad skin cancer. So while that pigment protects us from radiation, its damage can be very, very harmful if it's overdone.
Yeah, and that's something that is very problematic. A sunburn, of course, means that you've overdone it, right?
A sunburn means you've overdone it. You've been out in the sun much too long. And that can take a form in many different ways. It can be mild redness, or it can be skin blistering and skin peeling.
Yeah, and I think we were all pretty familiar with that too. And how long does it take? Not very long, right?
Well, you know, what people don't realize is you can get a sunburn in as little as 30 minutes. And sometimes you don't even see those effects for as long as 2 to 6 hours. And also, the important thing to remember also is that when you get a sunburn, that makes you more susceptible to damage to your skin further down the line with sunburn. So when you think you're going into that tanning bed or getting out in the sun for that nice base tan,
yeah,
it may be more dangerous than you think.
Yeah, and a lot of people do that base tan. They keep calling it a base tan. They think somehow that's going to help them later on. So how do you protect yourself this summer? Base tan, not the idea, right?
Well, there's a number of things you can do. Obviously, wide protective clothing, wide-brimmed hats, long-sleeve shirts, long pants. Those are things that are effective. Also, try to limit exposure to the sun as much as possible. Now, also, if all those things can't be done, of course, there's some things you can do like sunscreen or sunblock. Or the other thing to be careful of is there's certain medications if you're taking at home.
Absolutely.
Read the label because those things can make you sun sensitive.
Back to those sunscreens, though, they absorb the rays? And well, what are sunscreens versus sunblock? I guess I'm confused.
Sunscreens are materials or compounds that actually absorb the UV rays. Sunblocks actually reflect the UV rays.
And then what about those SPF numbers?
I knew you were going to ask me that. SPF numbers are interesting. SPF numbers are really an indication of how strong that sunscreen is. Yeah. For instance, if you have a sunscreen of, say, 10, one theory is that it allows you to be, that's the number of times more that you can be in the sun. For instance, if you were out in the sun and you would normally burn, say, at 10 minutes, an SPF of 10 would allow you to be out there 10 times that, or 100 minutes. The other theory is that the sunscreen number is how often you need to reapply it.
Oh.
For instance, if you have a sunscreen of 50, you should be reapplying that every 50 minutes. Now, these are theories, but I think the key thing to bring away from that is apply them often and apply them abundantly. Yeah. And remember that sunscreens or sunblocks are not waterproof, and they are not sweat-proof.
Really, so even if they say they are?
Even if they say they are.
Okay, you have to really reapply. Dr. Downs, thank you so much. Dr. Downs is going to be in next Friday as well, April 24th. He's going to be talking about how to treat a sunburn and limit the damage, because we know a lot of people are going to be in the sun no matter what. Now, if you have any questions about sunburns, maybe future topics that you would like to see on health and beauty breakdowns, you can email us this morning at 16 Morning News.